Kickoff, Fox 3. Can you hear? Over?
So we're supposed to kill them all before they finish breakfast. Say, what do you suppose Krauts eat for breakfast anyway? Sausage? Toast?
Oh, God damn it!
Cold glass of blood?
Sarge, I can't get anyone on this thing. We're fucked.
All right, same plan as before. Hartsock, you're with Baker. The Krauts know we're here, so go say hello the airborne way.
You mean shoot them?
Yes, obviously, Private Allen.
It's just, I've never said hello like that.
When you're under fire, there's really only one thing on your mind. Survive. I ran faster than I ever ran in my life, and I was carrying 30 pounds of gear. Somehow your brain starts to rationalize. Just get down this road, Matt Baker. Just get down this road and you'll be going home. It's only once you stop running that you start to wonder, will any of us actually return home alive?
Come on, Revis. Look at me, buddy. Look at me. That shot wasn't far off. We gotta move. He's not even dead yet. Hang on. Obi, Zanovich, let's move. What are you doing? I'm saving your ass. Fuck. Let's go.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Indoor Hunter, and we're back with another video game discussion. Today's game is, of course, Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. For those of you that have never played the game before, is a tactical squad-based shooter set in World War II, and this video game franchise is very near and dear to my heart. For me personally, it's what killed Medal of Honor. Don't get me wrong, later games like Medal of Honor Airborne were great. However, this game did World War II better than any game, period. This is the best World War II shooter there ever was and probably ever will be. Now, there's some games on PC that are fun to play, don't get me wrong, but none of them have been able to really do what Brothers in Arms has done or did. A lot of games, you know, they're fast-paced, they're Hollywood-style shooters, you know, run and gun, shoot 'em up, which is fun, don't get me wrong. But what Brothers in Arms did was bring an emotional attachment to your characters, to your squad, to your teammates, to the NPCs that are around you. You know, where you have a game like Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, you see an NPC die, you're like, oh, whatever, that, you know, it's just kind of filler, it's visual effects. This game is different, where you kind of know that guy, you know, that's Private Smith, you know, he's from Kansas and he likes to eat, you know, French fries, that kind of thing. And so as you play and develop with these characters, it hurts when you see one of them get killed or something happens to them. And there's very few games today that do that. And not to mention the gameplay itself with Brothers in Arms was kind of groundbreaking. I don't know if that's the right term, because there were some strategic shooters around then, but nothing really on console that molded real-time strategy with first-person shooter, squad mechanics, squad management. You had games like Full Spectrum Warrior. That was a realistic squad-based shooter, but nothing like this. I mean, this was, you know, you make a mistake, you're going to get your squad killed. And that's obviously a very bad thing, because you like these guys, you don't want them to die, and it's your job to keep them alive. And when you make a bad decision, you get people killed, that, you know, you're like, shit, that just happened. I can't believe, you know, old boy just got killed because I made a stupid decision. You know, it's not like Call of Duty where you're trying to just shoot the machine gun position because you've got your super accurate rifle and you're just beaming everybody. They actually, in Brothers in Arms, they made a mechanic to where it was actually harder to hit enemies on purpose to kind of simulate what it feels like in real combat, because you're not standing up, lining up a shot, pulling the trigger. You're trying to take cover. You're trying to stay alive. And again, their AI system in the game is excellent. Their military advisor for the game, Colonel John Antal, actually stated that very poetically that in the game, the enemy AI is trying to not die just as much as you are. So they were a very fun enemy to fight at the time. I guess you could say, looking back in hindsight, I won't be as biased about it. The AI in today's standard just a little touch and go, but back then it was groundbreaking. And to see this enemy try to outflank you or outmaneuver you, and sometimes kill you and your squad, was pretty intense. The squad management could have, I guess, been considered confusing at the time for some people, because again, we're used to shooters like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty, where you're just running around like a chicken with your head chopped off with an MP40. But this game that's just not how this game was played, and I love that aspect. And this was my kind of, I wouldn't consider this game a hardcore sim by any means. It's a video game after all. But it allowed me to dip my toes in the water of milsim, of that realistic aspect. And for me, that was just a breath of fresh air from playing games like, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and even Halo at the time. And I really enjoyed it. And the other thing that I really just absolutely loved about this game was the fact that I would consider it history porn. So again, I talked about the box cover and seeing, the superimposed image of, you've got, Dead Man's Corner, for example, and then you see the real life place, and then you see the game version of it right next to it, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. Gearbox Software, the main developers of the game, yes, the same Gearbox that went on to create Borderlands, They did extensive, very expensive research too, on these locations, where these guys fought, how they fought, the time of day it was fought, the weather at the time. So they would go through, they would read after action reports, and they would take those after action reports and actually make those real life or in-game missions that actually happen in real life. So everything that you're doing in a game really happened. Maybe, obviously, it wasn't exactly the same squad, obviously, we can't do that. This isn't Assassin's Creed. We can't go back in time and recreate that perfectly. However, it was revolutionary at the time what they did. I mean, these guys, you could literally, so a mission that you go and do, you could go find that after action report and we're like, wow, that's pretty much how that played out. That mission is exactly what happened in real life. If you're crossing a bridge and you take 88 fire, 2 of your squad members get killed. That's something that actually happened in real life. And so that was mind-blowing to me. And I love doing that, little snippets of learning history as you go. This game was a great teacher as much as it was entertainment. It didn't shy away from the true horrors of war. It didn't try to sensationalize it. It didn't try to Hollywood it. It was a gritty, realistic version of, this is war, people die, they die in violent ways, and you're going to be witness to that. Again, Call of Duty and Medal of Honor didn't really do that. It was fun, pretty to look at, but this game, man, it was a visceral experience the first time you see one of your squad mates die in a violent way, and I'll never forget seeing that. And again, kind of to touch on what I've already said, you don't really see that in games nowadays. Another aspect that made this game just absolutely amazing was its multiplayer. This was certainly I would say Halo was definitely the flagship of Microsoft and Xbox at the time, but Xbox Live was very interested in this game and saying, hey, utilize our system. And this was one of the first big games for Xbox Live. And boy, let me tell you, the multiplayer is awesome, because unlike other multiplayers, where it was, very PvP based. It was you versus the other guy, your team versus their team. This was you and your squad versus them and their squad. And just like the single player, you had to use actual tactics to outsmart that other team and kill them, or to complete your objective or whatever. And so that was just a ton of fun. I can remember, I don't know how many hours I spent with friends playing that game, trying to just beat them and outsmart them, because it was really hard to, try to play it like you would a typical shooter, just run out there and try to fight, because, you've got to deal with their squad and their squad's got to deal with your squad. And it was just chaos and pandemonium, and it was so much fun. And I really encourage anybody that hasn't played the game to go and try to play it. Unfortunately, it's only available on the original Xbox, PlayStation 2. I think it might be on the Wii as well. Probably not the best version, to be honest with you. It's available on PC as well. That's how I've been able to rekindle my love for the game. And going back to touch base with just the beauty of the game. I really wish games today would actually use the same color palette this game did. The lighting is amazing. The visual effects are great. When a grenade explodes on the ground, it looks realistic. When mortars are going off, it looks realistic. It sounds good, feels good. Again, like I said, this game used a lot of newer technologies at the time, because games really weren't using ragdoll effects. They were still using computer-generated animation. The people moved very realistically for the time. As you're sitting there with your squad, they'd follow you and their eyes would move individually with you. They had realistic mouth motions. And all this stuff sounds trivial today because games, just do that. But back then, this was groundbreaking. And so it was really it just added a whole new level of immersion. And again, going back to the emotional development of the story, you just kind of like Game of Thrones, don't get too attached, folks. It's war and bad shit happens. Right? Anyway, go back and touch on the historical aspect of the game. Obviously, the setting's World War II. It follows the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment, the 101st Airborne Division. It's the same group of guys that the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers is involved with. You're actually doing many of the same missions that these guys are doing. Road to Hill 30, actually, if you guys recall from Band of Brothers, the part, I can't remember the episode off the top of my head, the part where everybody's they just got done taking over Carentan, and they are trying to defend it from a German counterattack, and there's tanks, and the Shermans come in and save the day. Well, that's in the game. That actually happened. It was known as Hill 30. Hence why the game is called Road to Hill 30. It's literally just a linear progression from day 1 to day 8. And it's kind of eye-opening when you think about, this is the kind of craziness these guys saw in just 8 days of combat. And they were there for a lot longer than that. So it was just really great. Great historical game. Very authentic game. The equipment you use. There's no health packs. There was no healing your squad. You got killed, you got killed. There's no rectifying it. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. If you guys are interested to see more on Brothers in Arms, let me know. I'll throw up some gameplay, with all the audio and everything like that. If you guys want to know anything about the game's sequels, I'll do that too. The reason I didn't really try to do those, because again, they're just kind of sequels. I'll caveat that with what they did great is they allowed you to see a different side of Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. So the second game in this series is Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood. And that actually follows Second Squad. And you kind of see their perspective of the first game. So it's really cool and interesting. At any rate, if you guys want to see more video game discussions, let me know. If you have a game in mind that you'd like to see me or hear my opinions on or anything like that, let me know. Until next time, it's the Indoor Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one.